Imagine a weapon that destroys the user the moment they pull the trigger. For decades, you have been told China possesses this weapon, a $760 billion mountain of US debt. The headlines scream that Beijing could dump these treasuries tomorrow and send America back to the Stone Age. But that is a lie. While the media obsesses over a trade war, the real war has shifted to a battlefield you cannot see. It is not about debt anymore. It is about a mathematical certainty known as the suicide zone. While you were worried about the dollar collapsing, Beijing did not dump the debt to kill the economy. They started buying the only thing that outlasts empires, gold. Today we are stripping away the political theater. We are going to expose the silent mechanism that binds the US and China in a death spiral, from the messiah trap of AI to the silent de-dollarization that is already eating away at your savings. The question is not will they attack. The question is why have we already lost control? Before we go further, we need to perform a mental hard reset. Stop looking at the trade deficit numbers. They are a distraction designed for the evening news. The conflict between Washington and Beijing is not a standard rivalry where one side wins by selling more electric cars. It is a structural trap, a game theory gridlock that operates on three lethal principles. First, we have mutual assured economic destruction. Think of the US and China as two climbers roped together on the side of a cliff. If China cuts the rope by dumping the dollar, they do not just kill the American economy, they crush their own export model and devalue their own reserves. It is a suicide pact disguised as leverage. Second, is the winner-takes-all dynamic of artificial general intelligence. In the nuclear Cold War, second place meant you still existed. In the race for AGI, second place gets zero reward. The winner controls the future of military and economic computation. The loser becomes a digital colony. This forces both sides to run faster than safety allows. Finally, we have the messiah trap. This is the most dangerous variable. Washington believes it must win to save the world from authoritarian control. Beijing believes it must win to save the world from American chaos. This is not about politicians making bad choices. It is a mathematical tunnel where the only logical move is to escalate, step by step, until something finally snaps. To understand the crime, we have to go back to the scene of the deal. The early 2000s, China enters the World Trade Organization. The global elites dusted off an old playbook, the petrodollar recycling model, but they gave it a dangerous upgrade. The arrangement was seductive. China produced everything you own for pennies. America bought it all on credit. But instead of cashing out, Beijing took those dollars and loaned them right back to the US Treasury. It was a perfect silent circle. It kept the yuan cheap, so their factories never stopped. And it kept US interest rates low, so your housing market never cooled. For 20 years, it looked like a miracle. But in forensic accounting, we call it a Ponzi scheme. It relied on the fantasy of infinite growth. Now the music has stopped. The growth is dead. But the massive pile of debt? That is still sitting in the basement, ticking. Now let us open the black box and see how the machine actually grinds. First, we have the debt dud. The media loves the idea of a financial nuclear strike, but in reality, China's mountain of US debt is a weapon that shoots backward. If Beijing dumps $700 billion in treasuries tomorrow, they trigger a mathematical suicide. Interest rates spike, the dollar crashes, and the Chinese yuan skyrockets. Suddenly, every factory in Shenzhen goes dark because their goods are too expensive for the world to buy. As Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent pointed out, they would be incinerating their own reserves just to watch America burn. It is not a weapon. It is a hostage situation where both sides are the hostage. While you watch that distraction, the real move is happening in total silence. The strategic diversification. China is not trying to blow up the dollar. They are trying to outgrow the need for it. Through the Aimbridge project and the CIPS system, they are building a digital bypass that never touches a US bank. They are quietly swapping paper promises for the ultimate hard asset, gold. By accumulating over 5,000 tons of it, they are not killing the dollar overnight. They are making it irrelevant over time. But the true horror is the third mechanism, the suicide zone of artificial general intelligence. This is a game theory trap where the winner controls every military and economic atom on Earth. Because second place is death, both nations are forced to sprint through the suicide zone, a space where they must deploy AI faster than they can secure it. If Washington slows down for safety, Beijing wins. If Beijing pauses, Washington wins. So nobody pauses. We are witnessing the most rational entities on the planet collectively pressing the accelerator toward a cliff, hoping they fly while everyone else falls. To see the machine in motion, we only need to look at the great treasury sell-off of 2024 and 2025. When China's holdings of US debt dropped to their lowest levels since 2009, the mainstream media predicted an immediate interest rate apocalypse. But the apocalypse never arrived. Instead, the system performed a quiet act of levitation. The Federal Reserve and domestic investors absorbed the debt as fast as Beijing could sell it. The crash was a non-event. But if you stop looking at the debt and start looking at the shadow hand, you see the real evidence. While the world watched the exit from treasuries, China was executing the largest gold accumulation in modern history. Officially, they report 2,292 tons, but in the world of forensic finance, official numbers are just a polite suggestion. Experts estimate their real reserves have quietly surpassed 5,000 tons. This is the smoking gun. China is not trying to crash the casino by burning the chips. That would be messy. Instead, they are quietly cashing out their paper chips and replacing them with bars of solid gold before the building burns down. They are not fighting the system. They are surviving its inevitable conclusion. Over time, the structural trap has metastasized. It is no longer confined to the sterile halls of central banks or the fluctuating numbers on a trading terminal. The battle has evolved into the AGI arms race, fueled by the same brutal winner-takes-all logic that defined the debt crisis. We have moved from trade tariffs of 125% on Chinese goods to total tech blockades. The elite have realized a chilling truth: money is replaceable, but dominance in artificial intelligence is not. If you lose the currency war, you face poverty. If you lose the intelligence war, you face obsolescence. The battleground has shifted from the bond market to the server farm, where the cooling fans hum with the weight of global destiny. This is where the risks transcend mere bankruptcy and enter the realm of existential catastrophe. In this new phase, the goal is no longer to trade with the enemy, but to ensure they never possess the computational power to challenge your reality. The debt was just the opening act. The real play is being written in silicon, where the cost of coming in second is not just a financial loss, it is the end of your sovereignty as a nation. Today, you do not need a brokerage account or a seat on Wall Street to be a victim of this war. Just by holding US dollars in your bank account, you are unknowingly financing the front lines of this global shift. When Washington weaponizes the dollar through aggressive sanctions, it does not just punish foreign rivals, it accelerates the very exit strategy we have been documenting. Every time China or the BRICS nations bypass the dollar to protect themselves, the gravity of the global financial system shifts. That shift brings the consequences directly to your doorstep in the form of persistent, grinding inflation. Think of the global economy as a high-speed machine. The friction between the old dollar world and the new gold-backed digital reality is generating an intense heat, and that heat is the inflation you feel every time you pay for groceries or fuel. Your life savings are being used as the lubricant to keep this failing machine running just a few months longer. The suicide zone of AI means your future is now being bet on a technological race with no safety brakes. While the elite compete for the keys to the future, you are the one paying the premium for their survival. You are not a spectator in this crisis. You are the collateral damage. The walls are closing in, and the system is designed to ensure that when the building finally burns, the elite have already converted your hard-earned paper into solid gold. And here is the most important point you must accept. This system does not exist because of a dark conspiracy or a handful of evil men in a room. It exists because of cold, rational self-interest. China is not de-dollarizing because they hate America. They are doing it because they must to survive a world of financial sanctions and dollar weaponization. The United States is not inflating the debt because they are incompetent. They are doing it because they must to fund the race for AGI dominance and maintain global order. Every actor in this drama is behaving exactly as game theory predicts. This is a collision of two massive, unstoppable objects. The decoupling is not a possibility. It is a mathematical certainty that has already begun. The questions about trade deals and diplomatic summits are just noise designed to keep you from seeing the signal. The only question that matters is how much longer you will continue to bet your financial life, your family's security, and your future on an old world order that is being dismantled in real time. The system is protecting its own interests. It is time you started protecting yours. History does not care about your portfolio. It only cares about power. The debt is not a weapon. It is a leash that connects two drowning giants. China is cutting that leash, ounce by ounce of gold. America is sprinting toward the AI singularity to maintain absolute dominance. You are standing in the middle. There is no safe asset when the rules of the game are being rewritten. There is only awareness. The system is designed to protect its own survival, not yours. If you want to understand the next phase of this collapse before it hits the mainstream headlines, leave the number 1 in the comments. Subscribe to Financial Money History, because the next story is not about money, it is about survival.